projects that Ben has prioritized over the next 2 to 3 months, or as long as I'm here. So glad to be here again. As I told one of the board members, I'm going to work with the administrator, the public administration company, to get them to hire somebody else for another 2 years so that I can come back again.
Well, Frank, we're hoping you're our good luck charm. Yeah, we got Ben, hoping for the good luck charm.
Just as a point of order, I wish Ben the best of luck. He did an excellent job here for Osceola. He came in here when things were not exactly easy, and he put together quite a program, quite a culture for the community, and he should be congratulated.
Yeah. Outstanding.
Yes, agreed. Thank you, Frank. And as I've told a lot of people, you're good to work with most of the time, so we're all good. Sorry, I'm trying to do cameras and tell jokes. It's kind of hard. Yep, anyway. All right, next item, approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Motion by Holly, seconded by Bruce to approve the agenda as presented. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passed unanimously. Next item, approval of the minutes. We have two, regular meeting dated May 10th, 2022, and a special meeting dated May 26th, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2 sets of minutes.
Second.
Motion by Deb, seconded by Brad to approve both sets of minutes. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes unanimously. Next item, public input and ideas. Limit 5 minutes per speaker. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak? Want to come up? If you could just state your name and address for the record.
My name is Addie Booberl. I live at 717 North Cascade Street, Osceola, Wisconsin. I think we should build a skate park. Some people like me want to learn how to skateboard. Other people know how to skateboard and would like a skate park. I think it would be a good idea to build one. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Buberl. All right.
That'd be a tough act to follow.
Anyone else? Anyone online? Going once? Twice? All right, moving on. Next item, reports. First up is library today.
Nice of you to put her first.
Just in case.
I know. Yeah, but
Okay.
it's nice for you get to be first so you can get the heck
Yes,
out.
actually, I was like, this is like a maternity leave gift. Thank you guys. Yeah, so I made it. This is probably going to be my last meeting. I would hope that this will be my last meeting for a few months. So we'll just get right into it. So this month, I completed and sent out all of our county funding, our Act 150 requests, to all of the counties who we are receiving reimbursements from, and we should be seeing a very small, but still good increase. Next year kind of depends on how the counties determine what percentage they're going to fund, but I'm expecting a small increase, so that's great. Additionally, let's see, my proposed leave plan was approved at the May Library Board meeting. And I have on here that my leave will approximately begin July 1st, might be a little bit earlier than that. So we'll see how things go in the next week or two. And I plan on being back early October, so I should be back for budget season and all of that. And hopefully just back just to pop in and say hi too. During my leave, Anne, Rebecca, and Dawn are going to be splitting a lot of my job duties. We've been working closely to prepare for that, so I'm feeling really confident in their abilities to pick up right where I leave off. And if you need to reach out to someone, go ahead and reach out to them. They're very capable and ready to take over for me. Looking at materials circulation, Last month, we as well as all of IFLIS saw quite the dip, which is kind of a normal experience right before summer, the end of the school year, all that kind of compounds. But we saw about 3,400 circs last month, and I've checked so far this month. I checked at the end of last week, and we already had 2,100 circs. So that has picked right up with all of our summertime usage. So that is really encouraging. We've also seen just in the last 2 weeks 46 new patrons. So lots of those are young kids coming in, starting the summer reading program. So that's great. Public computer uses, we had 91 in May, still over 1,000 ebook checkouts, so that's holding strong. And we had 15 new patrons in May. So you can see there's quite a jump, 15 all last month, and only in the first 2 weeks, 46 new patrons this month. So, yeah. As far as collections go, we received 169 new items in the month of May. One collection I want everyone to keep their eye out for is our book bike collection. So we expect the book bike sometime this summer. We're not quite sure when that's going to come in or when we'll be able to start using it. But we do plan to purchase a dedicated collection for the bike that will keep updated with the newest and most popular items. So keep an eye out for that.
Anne and Rebecca, just a reminder, I want to ride the bike.
Oh, we have you on the list. We've got you. So as far as events and participation goes, our summer reading program kicked off on June 4th with snake discovery, and I believe we saw over 100 people. So that was super encouraging. That was also where a lot of our new patrons came from, a lot of kids getting library cards. This June, we're going to also see the return of Storytime, Mr. Licky's birthday party, and a library con event. So that's all exciting. Additionally, Dawn held her watercolor painting classes last week. And so I have on here spots are filling it fast, but they were already full. So they were completely full, and it went really well. So that is very encouraging as well. Let's see here. As far as facilities and staff go, Anne planted a small community garden on our terrace, so just in our planter out there. We have some herbs and a cherry tomato plant, so if you want to stop out there, it's a great place. I always say it's a great place to go have lunch, maybe not on a day like today, but on some of the nicer days. And then you can also check that out. Other than that, I think that's about it. We are going to be planning on hiring a new high school age student for about 10 hours per week later in the summer as we send Hannah off to college. So if you know any students who are interested, who might be interested maybe in someday working for university libraries, working for your local library is a really great opportunity to get that experience. So, yeah, send them our way. I think that's it. Any questions?
Nope.
Oops. And also, Ben, it's been great working with you, so I'm sure you're going to get a lot of comments today. But thank you for being a great person to work with. Yeah, okay. All right.
All right.
Well, thank you guys.
Thanks,
Have a good
Shelby.
summer if I don't see you.
Yep,
Yeah.
good luck.
All right, thanks.
Hi, Shelby.
Thank you, Shelby. Next up, fire.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Paul.
This month was kind of a busy month. We had 11 runs total. 7 of them were in the village of Osceola, 2 were in the town of Farmington. 1 was a mutual aid with Dresser, and 1 was a mutual aid with Somerset. We had 1 motor vehicle accident, 3 structure fires, 1 grass fire, 5 alarms, and 1 lift assist. So, in this last month in our meeting and training, we went down to the river and worked with the new trailer pump that I built for the village. And we pumped with that, worked out really well. We did a walkthrough. I brought the fire department through all the schools. We do a walkthrough and showed them all the boiler rooms and all the different stuff that for rescue and anything else that we may need to do. So, and then we did just an inventory and apparatus checks. Hangars at the airport have all been inspected. Everybody complied. Everything was really good this year. So the the pilots and everything have gotten to work with us really good now, so we have no trouble. Work is continuing on feedback for the Osceola Bluffs on their proposed plan, so everything's looking really good there. We're, kind of excited to keep going with that. Business inspections are ongoing. We still have some of those, and of course, now we're just gonna start our second round of inspections for the year. So all the businesses and that have to be inspected twice a year, so. And then last thing, our flagpole just came in today, and we're gonna be installing a nice flagpole, which was donated by a private party. It was Bernie Miller's family that was the chief for many years. His family donated the money for a flagpole, so we'll be installing that within the next month. So, any questions?
I see you had a ladder truck out for some training
Yeah,
here. How'd it go here?
really
You were at
good.
the
We wanted
village
to
hall.
check this building out, and that's one of my goals in the next month or 2 months is to take we went to the high school last night first, and we put it on several different roofs, and then did rescue with the rescue basket and all that in case if somebody were to get hurt or we had to rescue people in an incident. And then we came here. I want to do some other buildings. I'm going to go around, ask permission to do other buildings so that we can train with it. And there's two types of situations with that truck. One's a rescue, like off of balconies or roofs or whatever. And then the other one is actually using it for fire suppression. So we're practicing all these setups. So in the middle of the night, some people know exactly where to go and how to set it up and where to set it for water and everything. So it's our goal is to do pre-inspections and pre-setups so that everything goes really slick.
Well, and it's preparing for,
Yeah.
future buildings and,
Yeah.
what we're facing. So I think it's really good to see you guys doing your job and doing it right and doing it well.
When I spent many, many years on the fire department, and we trained and we trained and we trained, but we never went
Yeah.
out into the public and actually
Yeah.
trained with our vehicles and all
people
that,
really like that.
and did setups,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
We get a lot of questions, and I get a lot of phone calls
yeah.
afterwards about what was going on here.
Oh, wow.
Just tell them you're getting better to help save them.
Right.
Don't think anybody's gonna complain.
No, nobody will
I wouldn't.
complain. They just wanted to know what fire was up on the roof at the hall here. I said, no.
No, don't burn the building down.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Paul.
I think that it was the motor behind the whole plot. Can you envision this ending without Donald Trump himself?
Somebody's on,
It requires the entry of a code. It's kind of a pain.
I think it is kind of a pain on you.
Thanks, Ben.
I like their conversation, but maybe we should stick to here instead.
Sound like TV.
Yeah, competition.
You're right.
All right, moving on, building inspection.
Doesn't take much.
The May report's in front of you. We had 12 new permits pulled, totaling $2.57 million in value. It's a little bit of a tricky one, though, because it looks like one of the schools had a big $1.6 million alteration. So kind of take that one out. It was a little bit slower month. We did have 4 new units, 3 new building permits for new homes, but one of them's a duplex, so it's 4 units. And all told this year, we're sitting at about 10 new homes, again, 11 new units, which is on par. Generally we see a spike when 4 or 5 permits get pulled, and then they get built out, and then another 4 or 5. And we are a little bit less than half of what we were this time last year, so it's proven to be another good year for us.
Cool.
good.
Questions?
Nope.
All right. Then right on to
Great.
administration.
As for the admin report, the only thing I have that isn't on the agenda or that department heads I haven't talked about already is that all of you should have received my list of 44 things that the administration office and me in particular are working on. It's in your OneDrive. Staff can send you out a copy of that if you need a different copy or digital ones. But it includes all the tasks that I've been up to, from grant writing to projects, updates, and everything. And it includes you know, red being, we got to continue working on these right away, to green being a little bit less of a priority, and things that can get pushed back to maybe the next administrator, or if Frank gets bored. And it also includes staff leads, department heads, and other pieces. So I encourage you to keep an eye on that and let us know, well, let staff know if there's anything that you have any questions on that list. And you have my cell phone, so of course.
Which will be disconnected
Which will
within 2 weeks.
No longer in service.
For real though, thank you for putting that together. That's
Yeah.
incredibly
That was
nice.
very illuminating.
And you heard that, Frank. Red, high priority. Green, low priority. Don't switch them.
I know, I was confused by it. It took me a while, but it was like,
Doesn't mean stop.
All right. Any questions?
No.
All right. Thank you, Ben. Next up, police.
Hi, Ron.
It's kind of deceiving how this stays light so late out.
Yeah.
I'll start by saying thanks to Ben. It's been a pleasure working with you. We got a lot done. We were able to hash through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The one thing I appreciated, that he was always available, no matter how big his pile was. You can sometimes tell by the sigh, but he always made himself available. So, thank you. Pleasure working with you. I wish you the best of luck where you're headed to.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Packer territory, not Viking territory.
Oh, I know. How come over there a chance I get those spread purple? All right.
That's a part of it.
I'll skip through this here. Jen Giller did a great job in May. Tons of background checks, not only for individual license holders, but for business holders and agents. And then switching to a new IT company, there's certain backgrounds, and then we have to take fingerprints for everybody involved. So it was a busy month that way, and she did a great job. And Officers Bach and Eric Lehman, who are our fingerprint specialists, it sounds kind of goofy, but trust me, if you don't have practice or you're not good at it, you send them off, and 6 weeks later they get kicked back saying redo, and it slows the whole process down. So
Oh, yeah.
they've all done a great job with that, and it's all completed. Just part-time officer update listing. You can see where I posted it, and haven't had any applications yet. Hopefully we do. We've had a couple departments in the area hiring full-time officers, and they've had to actually start a second process as well. On May 2nd, we had our annual long gun qualification, which means officers have to qualify with their shotguns and their rifles. It's a certain Department of Justice standards and training course. Again, we're lucky to have 2 in-house firearms instructors where we can do it in-house. And Eric and AJ do a great job with that, and all officers are qualified for the year.
Great.
Yeah, early May, we did get that grant we applied for the Narcan. So I attend some training on that this month yet. It's mandatory training, and then we should receive that sometime in July or August.
Super.
Yeah, that'd be great. And finally, I met with the school district, myself and some other stakeholders met, and we're gonna have, and I'm not sure what it's called, but it's equivalent to the Parent U that other schools have had at the schools, where there'll be a bunch of different topics over, I think, a 3-hour period. And the Osceola Police Department's gonna be working with Osceola Medical Center, Osceola Schools, and then the Polk County Sheriff's Department. We're gonna do a presentation on drugs, and that'll include not only drug facts, drug information, but drug identification, drug hiding spots, and, you know, things to look for. Again, we'll talk about Narcan and dangerous drugs as well. So it'll be, that along with the other stuff will be a great event for the community.
Super.
They bring up the topic of vaping at all during that meeting?
We did, and we talked about that and thought that that's something separate we should put on, because it's such a vast topic with a lot of information. So we'd rather cover one thing at a time thoroughly, but that is something that's on the radar for sure.
Yeah.
And sadly, a lot of these vaping devices are no longer tobacco, right? They have cartridges where they're THC, and they're being found all over, so.
Yeah, I've been in communication with the principal, the high school, and he's informed me that they're gonna be working on getting some grants in addition to some other fundraising to install some devices for that, so.
Yep.
Somerset's had some pretty good luck with vape detectors in their schools, so they were immediately effective.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, great to hear. Any questions?
What about like the Delta 8? Is there gonna be some education on that as well?
Yeah, you know, there's so much out there, but that's another point of maybe another good training, because it's not only the Delta 8, but there's what, 3 or 4 other mainstream synthetics out there that are always changing, right? And a lot of times with these synthetic drugs, canine dogs are not, they don't hit on them because they're synthetic, right? The compound's always changing, so it's just something we need to work with the schools with, and, you know, things like Brad was just talking about with the vaping,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, that's a great invention and a great tool to have.
scary.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Ron.
All right, Public Works.
Evening, everyone.
Hi, Todd.
There's not much the department didn't touch on this month. I should say last month and this month. We're fortunate to get a seasonal that started last week, so
Oh,
it's been
good.
of tremendous help, taking some of our daily tasks and put us more towards heavier maintenance items and things on our agenda. Pavement repair, spray patching, asphalt repair, all of these things have been on the docket and will continue throughout the summer as we start taking that capital funding and start probing contractors in what we can get done with the funding that we have. We have a pretty heavy Public Works Committee agenda coming up next Wednesday. That should be released by the end of the week for next Wednesday's meeting. So I think we'll be touching on everything from pavement and planning to some of our residential owned homes by the village and what the future may withhold. Had a solid storm after Memorial Day. Or on Memorial Day, took out a number of trees from Oak Ridge down to Third, almost kind of in a straight line. Public Works was able to help out a number of residents in getting some of their storm damage picked up. and
Thank you.
chipped. Yeah, it's
Took pity on me.
quite the feat, and so we were happy to work with people all the way from Oak Ridge to the south. Unfortunately, we did lose a couple of pretty solid trees in our parks and our public-owned rental space down here at 405 4th Avenue. So we spent easily 3 guys, 2 days between chipping, removing. They were complete tip overs, so stump removals, sod repairs beyond full cleanup. Big thanks to Dresser for letting us use their chipper. That certainly helped. We would have been looking at least probably 10 plus loads of brush instead of being able to chip and utilize those chips again in our parks and for residents to use. Storm sewer maintenance continues with overhaul to our discharge systems. Again, we're looking at every outfall, working closely with a contractor to clear out any extra sediment, as we should be every 2 to 3 years. And then we're also particularly focusing on our trunk lines and things like that, outfalls towards the river. I think as I mentioned in the last meeting, Fifth, and now we're experiencing just some cleanup and some things like that down in the 900 block of Cascade. So that continues. And we're also working on a structure repair right on Cascade and 35, right underneath the trestle. So if you hear any reports of a failing basin, we're working closely with the county and a contractor on getting some estimates on what that's going to cost to repair.
Is that Cascade and what?
That was Cascade and 243 intersection underneath the railroad trestle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it is village owned, not county. County basically deals with everything towards the west, more on 243 before the bridge, state storm sewer system. So that's ours, and we're going to take care of it as fast as we can before it gets any worse. May also brought the collection of another mass quantity of leaf bags. As I mentioned in the report, spent a considerable amount of time focusing on getting leaf bags picked up. Again, we cut that down to 2 weeks instead of an entire month. But of course, we have that site on Depot Road that's being well utilized at this time. People are
Yeah,
getting their
I
branches.
took some down there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's nice to have a place to throw them.
Yeah, to have a year-round site and to keep the department more focused on infrastructure and other tasks.
Yeah, yeah.
It's working well. Cascade Fall Overlook had a entrance has been provided a more aesthetically pleasing, kind of semi-temporary barrier to try and keep people out. The two-sided do not enter sign with cable only lasted for so long, and people get tricky bringing wrenches and things like that to take these things down, so more permanent structure was made. Been working close with both the chamber and getting extra brochures and things like that out. Sidewalk side, as well as with the trail committee and getting some extra signage and ensuring that people know where they're going.
Yeah.
I think as some of us may know, Grispo Park has seen an excellent makeover. Thanks to the Wild Rivers Conservancy, the donations, and all the support from the volunteers who helped to make it a success. As I noted, over 450 plants. I think several trees were installed. Park's a success, thanks to everyone. So we look forward to it to being an excellent space. Again, full mowing operations are in effect, are consuming a considerable amount of time. We are grateful that seasonal's here, as I mentioned, a minimum of 32 hours. And then, and that's just internally. That's outside of the contract, who does 6 spaces, and who's also doing an excellent job.
Good.
Very excellent communication, excellent attention to detail. So couldn't be happier with him following up on a weekly basis on what he's completed. Outside of that, building maintenance. We're going to do some low budget, high impact, little restoration to the restroom here at Oki Park. The park's utilized, much like many of our parks, downtown, but Oki Park has just seen a massive uptick. We hear a lot of reports from local residents that would live within the vicinity. And then we also seen it, I mean, it's reserved, the gazebo is reserved, or I should say the pavilion is reserved three days this week already. So that did see a little bit of an upgrade on the inside last year. So this year we're gonna do good power washing, get some fresh paint on it, dress it up better, and make it a even more presentable space for these people that are paying to use the pavilion and use that space. So
Yeah, cool.
any questions this evening?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Todd.
Next up, utilities.
I hope everybody's staying cool. I know we were out meter reading today.
Oh, I'm sorry
Well, I
to hear
should say
that.
Let's
guys
pick
were
the
out
hottest
loading
day,
meters
right?
and-
Oh.
and feeling for them, so sometimes getting our reading equipment, as old as some of it is, as we're transitioning, it doesn't like to communicate with our new stuff. So we're not using Bluetooth on some of it, it's old uplink things, so we were having some technical difficulties today, but we got it all straightened out. I think the guys appreciated it because it was a nice break. So, month of reporting, I should note that we are also working on our compliance maintenance annual report, which is just an overall health of the plant, maintenance-wise, budget-wise, things like that. That's due at the end of the month too. So, water main flushing in the low zone completed on schedule. That map really worked out. We got that map that we talked about last time onto the website.
Good.
With a little zone in there. We did identify 2 hydrants that we need to repair that we'll schedule, but I'd rather find them when we're flushing and not have Paul call me at 2 a.m. They won't turn on. So that's part of that flushing project or flushing maintenance program that we do, is to identify those things. We had a customer side leak that we had an opportunity to replace a broken curb box. They're 8 feet deep, so you can imagine, taking those opportunities and stocking those parts. I managed to fit a 7-foot curb box in the back of my Focus to drive it from Hudson to up here. So.
Nice. Good job.
The guy came out with the forklift and was like, "Really?" It's like, "It'll fit, man." So
It's not a truck.
yeah, well, get better fuel economy.
Yeah.
So
Where was the leak?
What the leak? Just after the curb stop in galvanized pipe. they used a lot of galvanized back in the day. I don't know, maybe it was a Wednesday or something, but back in the older times, we use copper and plastic now. But galvanized pipe is just steel pipe with a galvanized coating on it. So you can imagine how steel pipe does with water in it in the ground. So it'll eventually start leaking. So we were able to, when the customer called, go up there, identify the leak. I was able to get it shut off. And what we do is actually listen to it to see what side of the stop it's on. If it's on the customer side stop, you know, the water will go away. If it's on our side, it stays on, and it sounds very similar to a faucet running. Just kind of that hissing noise. So we just listen to a curb wrench, and you'll get an idea. So it was up on in our high zone on one of the apartment buildings, so a pretty good sized 2-inch service. And the one next to it fed the different building that we were able to get on, ensure it worked. You know, clean out the box itself, replace it, and just kind of a good, you know, maintenance thing to do to your infrastructure to get out ahead of stuff. So.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave it alone, especially if you see if it's broken. So. Our GIS map is we left the test environment. We're live. Unfortunately, we had to pause because we had the meter read. So we're going to pick that up right afterwards. It's a lot of walking. We'll be walking the entire town, which is just great. It's a great way for our newer employee to learn the system. I mean, you'll remember every valve that was hard to find. You'll remember by standing on top of them. So with that, we have the opportunity to stand on top of all of our valves, our manholes, all of our infrastructure, and we can identify issues with them as we're standing there. So we added some drop-down menus into it, like for a valve that needs to come up, it needs to be raised. So another one of those things that's an opportunity to do it while we're there, or at least note it so we can come back to it. So rather than walking away from it and forgetting about it and never seeing it again until we need it.
Till it dies.
Until you need it, and then you can't get to it, and that's the thing. So we want to be out ahead of that stuff. So like I said, we'll be working on meter reads, and those will be out by the end of the month, and compliance maintenance. So, any questions on the report?
No, looks great.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
Appreciate it.
And before I go, Ben, pleasure to get to know you over the last couple of years. It's been a pleasure to work with you. I'm really happy for you and your family.
Next up, Chamber of Commerce Main Street. Evening, Ruth.
I'm surprised to see you here, so it was good working with you too. So, okay, we just got the ambassadors going again, and so they're in the process of scheduling business-to-business meetings. Hopefully, we're going to do one a month in addition to a chamber chat twice a year right now, and they're going to also be doing. They're going to be doing, social mixer. They're going to do a social mixer here, hopefully coming up in July. We just got done doing the Celebrate Osceola Awards. I don't know if everybody saw that in the paper, which was kind of fun because we couldn't do it live this year. We didn't have enough time to plan it, not knowing for sure what was going to happen with COVID. So a group of us went around to the different winners at like a publisher's clearinghouse surprise thing and videotaped. And the videotape will be coming out pretty soon on Facebook of all their reactions. So today we had Aaron Welty from the Main Street organization came to town to answer questions of people. You know, if anybody had any questions, do a little presentation. We've got the Harvest Bazaar that we're working on coming up September 10th. Same weekend as Wheels and Wings. Our website's coming together pretty fast, actually. So we're implementing a new website for people that didn't know that. And actually, the frame is in, so we're loading all the businesses in that. Now, we are working on finishing up getting our current members all loaded on that, and then going to start working on new members. And then the big project we're working on is the bid district still, which we got a lot of our questions answered today from Erin when she came, because she works with putting together bid districts all over the state. So I'm pretty positive about this. I'm pretty hopeful. Again, you know, the more information we can get out there to people, if people have questions, they can call me or, you know, anybody on the chamber and talk to us about this, because our fear is that if we don't get this through, then we're gonna have a problem maintaining the Main Street program. So, any questions?
What do you think the likelihood of people agreeing to the bid?
We're almost there.
Oh,
We need
good.
51%. We need 51% of the building valuation, and we're just about there. It's just a matter of, I'm not really sure what people are thinking, but hopefully we'll get what we need, because they worked really hard. This is before my time here, but they worked really hard to get the Main Street program up and running, and it'd be really hard to see it go.
Yeah, it would be really unfortunate.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's the smaller businesses that are questioning it, whereas the bigger businesses are all for it. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I don't know. I think sometimes we have newer, younger businesses here in town that think that some of the stuff that they're thinking of hasn't been tried before, and I don't know. Anyway, we'll do what we can and hope for the best. Okay?
Super.
Thank
That it?
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. With that, we move on to other business discussion and possible action. First item, Osceola Skate Park update and location identification.
Hello again.
Hi, Todd.
So, there's some positivity, just raining, to approve a skate park, more importantly, skate park location. I think we've seen some maps in the past of what a 7-acre Oki Park could potentially look like. And, their fundraising levels continue to grow. But for their fundraising to continue and for grants to potentially be applied for in this project coming into fruition, they need a location, a designated location. And as noted in the memo, the Public Works Committee did approve 3-0 to a location in this southwest sector of Oki Park near 405 4th Street. So I think at this time, Marcia Hovey, I'd like to introduce her, and she would like to present kind of where they're at.
First, I have some goodies.
Try to bring up the map for you on this.
Oh, yes, and I also have this visual aid, which is very exciting. So I have some handouts that I'll give and pass around. I also have extras if anyone, if anyone in this super awesome crowd would like one, I'll leave these to Chelsea to pass around. I am Marcia Hovey. If you don't already know me, I've met some of you. I live at 805 North Cascade Street. I'm also the marketing director at Trollhagen, and I am a skateboarder. And a year ago, I asked if I could take over this project. It is actually housed through the Osceola Main Street program. It's a chamber project. I'd like to call to Paul Smith and Paul Anderson, who've really been stewards for this project from the get-go. So in 10 years, about $14,000 was raised for this project. It has since gained a new chapter. In the last year, we're now at $42,000 without a location. A year ago, Ben and Todd asked me to kind of show that this project is viable. And if there are moments to be humble, now is not one of them. I think we've shown that this project is more viable than ever. In a time when mental health awareness is massive and outdoor recreation is critical, this project is something that I feel like maybe if it's on the green or the yellow of the list, maybe it could be red on the list. You know, just a thought. So today I've handed out some information kind of about the history of the project and also really what we are looking for. Like Todd said, we need that location and that mock-up to really move forward. And 10 years ago, the location within Oki Park was different. So this project is now moved to an area that is more forefront. It provides parking, and I should note that that parking and taking down of that house is not part of our fundraising goal. If that's something that needs to be, let us know, and we'll do more 9-pin tournaments every Friday. So I am here to answer any questions. I am here to be just a figurehead for this project. I know there's a bunch of people here and in this town and beyond that really want to see this happen, and I think it would be a really big win for our town to have this happen sooner than later. One of the things that we've experienced is pushback from people saying, well, why didn't this happen? Why hasn't this happened? And I'd really love to change that narrative to this is happening and it's built and it's something that we can celebrate. Bring new life to Oki Park, provide something for new visitors. So yeah, I'd love to see if you have any questions, if there's any questions from the audience. I'm here for anything to make this happen.
Are you able to add on to this in the future?
Yes, Van?
I just want to make sure, because everything grows.
Yeah, that's a
So-
really great point. One of the biggest detriments of small town America is not investing enough and not having enough space allocated and growing beyond the borders very quickly. So Evergreen Skate Parks is an amazing company based out of Montana, some of my friends, and they have done phase 2 and phase 3 on a number of their parks around the country. So it's something that you hear a lot is, this is so successful, how do we make it bigger? So, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's, yeah, a lot of times people do ask, why didn't it happen? What happened? We went through that with the Veterans Memorial site, and Paul Anderson was a big player in that, and finally got it together, got it going, along with some other people. So this can happen too.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm scrappy. I don't know if you guys have found that out yet.
Yeah.
I'm the lady that writes the articles and quotes myself in the Osceola Sun. That's me. So yes, I won't stop until it's done.
Yeah, no, it's, to be unstoppable sometimes is a good goal.
Yeah. So I know when we moved here in 2009, there was a little thermometer in the paper for the skate park. And I think it was around 10,000, maybe. I don't even know if it was. And then I remember it being at 10,000 for every single year.
Yeah.
Every time I saw the paper. Is that about right when you took over? Is that about how
We
much was
had
in there?
almost 15,000 in the bank when I took over.
So
Yeah.
it did go up a little bit.
Yeah.
And you've already got it up to 41.
$5 short of 42. I just would like to know that.
Say it. And that was in.
This
and that-
is a great meeting.
And that was in what amount of time?
Less than a calendar year.
That's awesome. A side note from all this, I think it's important to recognize the fact that one person, and I know there's more, but
There's
you're
more.
spearheading it, I know that, can make a big difference. So that's awesome. I just want to say
Thanks.
that. And the event on Friday was really cool. Good job.
It was really exciting. I will note at the end of that packet I gave you guys, there is a letter from 10 years ago. And so this is also my formal request to have that money looked at again. 10 years ago, there was $15,000 set aside for the skate park. And it was noted that once this project is deemed viable again, that would be revisited. So if this is me formally saying, let's relook at that money, that'd be great. Our goal is to really get to 30% by the end of the summer. We know that Osceola residents are not going to fund this project, and it's not fair to continue to make them do so. We need grants, and the Skate Park Foundation, formerly known as the Tony Hawk Foundation, Vans, the shoe company, and a lot of statewide grants require due diligence of about 30%. So we would love to get to that point, and we feel very confident that we can with the approval of this location from the village board saying, yes, this is the location. We can then go to businesses, say, this is the address, this is a mock-up. Be a platinum sponsor, get your name on the sign. Be a gold sponsor, get your name on the bench. But without this address, I'm just going on a dream.
What's the goal, dollar-wise?
200,000 is the goal for the initial park.
So 60,000 is where you want to be.
Roughly, yeah. So we're at 42. We just raised $5,000 in the last few days. The iron is hot now, not to be competitive, but Stillwater, I don't know if you've taken a look at their local papers, they are gunning for a skate park as well. Hudson is gunning for a skate park. Anoka wants to redo theirs. We have an opportunity to be the leader for what a successful concrete skate park can look like, and I would love to do it before all of those towns.
So I have a
Not
question.
competitive, are you? I'm not
This is a
competitive at all.
question more for Ben, just to kind of move to a different part of the discussion. A year and a half ago, we passed a resolution to sell that property. Do we have to do something with that? So that would be a piece, and I will just state, this is why I said no when we decided to sell that. This is the reason why, because it is a valuable piece of property, and I am super glad that we didn't sell it. With that said, I do think we need to look at what the cost would be for us to take the house down and put up, to look at a parking lot and everything, and perhaps that could be kind of the replacement of the 15,000 or something like that. I mean, because it's not gonna be cheap to do, so, and I think it would be a tough burden to place on you guys in some ways, but it is something that seriously needs to be looked at, because I don't know if that part is on the
Capital plan.
green, red, and yellow list and capital plan and everything, and we have to make sure that we do our due diligence too, to make sure that we don't end up, spending when we don't have, because
Yeah, we've done that before.
we've done that before, so.
Wasn't it any fun?
Yeah, so
think that's a-
just
I
a
think that's a
couple
great
pieces
idea.
that we need to kind of make sure, but the big thing is making sure that we do rescind or whatever that piece about selling the property.
Yeah, so to answer those, yes. If the board does choose long-term to go with the project, yeah, you'll want to rescind that resolution. As the map shows right here, the recommended location is adjacent to that property. And all that's being asked for tonight is merely saying, can this board say, yes, we like this corner? We want to work in this corner of the park. Public Works, we've identified, we've heard for the last 5 months about how parking is never enough everywhere. Well, Oki Park is no different, and this is an opportunity for the village to also address parking needs, address an aging bathroom, as well as this playground or skate park. So if the board tonight could just say, yeah, we look at that location as favorable, that's sufficient for our needs. Long-term, the area in the red, that resolution would have to be changed.
Okay.
And
So Marcia, is that enough if we were to say, yeah, we'd look at this, or do we have to say 100% this is it? Because I want to make sure that we do enough, but that we also make sure that we are prepared ourselves for what we need to do with it.
Specifically, the Tony Hawk Foundation wants us to have a design and an address, and I would assume that that is similar for a lot of other grants statewide. So whatever we can do to say, and this is a general size, it is not the exact design, which is fine, but this is about the cost and that area. So I feel comfortable saying, sure, this is our design and this is the location. So I would need a yes. And it would be great to get that within the next few months. I would love it tonight, but I understand that there's more moving pieces.
and we looked at this skate park in multiple locations. When this discussion came back, we looked at other sites, not even on village property, churches, elementary schools, even up by the hospital. And it just kind of kept coming down to, where are the kids located? How do we safely get kids there? As everybody may be remember and familiar, we really don't allow bicycles, skateboards, and things on sidewalks in certain parts of our village, downtown. Because the last thing you need is a person walking out of a building to get hit by a bike because there's no gap in visuals. So asking kids to go up Third or go on Cascade to get to the hospital just wasn't going to be right.
Yeah.
So it kind of kept falling back to this as being
This is by far the
goal.
best spot. I mean, having been around this for at least 8+ years on the board and forever with it following along with, like Jeremy said, the thing, this is by far the best spot. Even when we had talked about like behind the Dairy Queen, that's not a great spot either. beyond everything, it's a mosquito haven. But this, and with the addition of what we're kind of doing, going that direction by putting this building here and everything, this is all part of that vision. And this, again, I'll go back to, this is why when we talked about selling the house, this is why I said this was a bad idea. And I will say I'm very glad, again, that we didn't, because going that direction is a vision of what we had talked about for many years. I think it's the best location that you guys have come up with. So as long as we can do what we need to do as far as making sure that we don't get ourselves in financial trouble, it's an awesome spot.
And if it's something that the parking lot can come later, I mean, our goal is to have it in the ground by 2026, the latest, so that we don't fall into another, this has now taken 15 years.
Right.
Do I think we can get this funding within the next 2 years? Yes. But there's other things that need to be discussed, and building around a parking lot and which order is the best to do that, and I understand that. So if the skate park can be built first and the parking lot visited later, great. But I think it's a great spot too.
Well, looking at the aerial, it looks like you could probably get half a parking lot pretty simply. Just a few
Yeah.
trees, so,
Yeah,
I mean,
just gravel.
I know that there's
Just be
board.
gravel, right, doesn't have to be paved.
Right, yeah, there's board action needed to rescind a resolution to sell, but I think aside from that, we could probably still take action as a board to recommend approval of the address of the proposed
Oh,
park.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't have a
It doesn't
problem with
affect
doing that.
anything related to
No.
405, so.
No.
Yeah, if in fact you potentially vote as 409, I'm
That's the
sorry.
yellow,
Ooh, that's
That's the yellow
Well, the
box.
yellow house is actually 405.
right, but the yellow
park-
box that we're looking at is
Yeah.
That's
409.
Yeah, and that
405.
encompasses about
409.
five acres. It's about 5 acres. 409 Fourth Avenue is the designated address. That's 5 of the roughly 7 acres of the entirety of Oki Park. So
Okay. And I guess if we commit to that address, we really aren't saying anything more than that. We're not committing funds to it or anything. We're just giving them an address to say that's where the park's gonna be. So I don't think it's that big a commitment for us.
No.
So I don't have a problem with doing that tonight at all.
Yeah, just support of a location is really all that's needed at this time. You're supporting a skate park to be built at or around the southwest corner of Oki Park. Approximate address is, that's all. And if
Yeah, I'll make a motion to, move on the property that we had just talked about, for an address of 409,
Fourth Ave.
Yeah.
and, that's it.
I'll second.
So motion by Van, seconded by Holly to approve the location of 409 Fourth Avenue for potential skate park development. I got that right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Nay? Or, no, sorry. All right, passes unanimously.
There you go.
Marcia,
Got
thank,
an address.
There you
Go find some money.
Marcia,
I will.
Have fun.
Fran, you said you had $5? Thank you very much.
You're
Marcia,
welcome.
thank you for the way that you've gone about this too, with bringing Paul and the Pauls in and everything, because
Yeah.
I know, I've known Paul Smith for a long, long time, and I know that there's a passion and things, and
We're at $42,000.
so
Good
I
for
appreciate that. You could have waited till I finished
And
talking.
thank you, Ben. I
Could've waited till I
hope
finished
you and the boys get to come back
sorry.
and skate.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to forget. But no, that's a good thing. Sorry, Deb.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, certified survey map for Bluffs Development Site.
Okay. Sorry, it looks like some of our staff reports had a numbering that was off a little bit, but, this is still the second item on today's agenda. We have a long list of things to do for the old hospital site as it begins to move towards something more than what it is. And in this case, the developers are requesting approval of a map that just clears up the property. Currently, right now, the old hospital site sits on 5 parcels. One of them was a vacated river street at one point that became a parcel. And why the old hospital OMC chose not to combine their parcels at the time is up to them. There was nothing wrong with what they've done, but technically that building is sitting on 5 parcels, and it becomes challenging whenever you want to redevelop a site. So the developers in this case are just asking to combine them all into one lot. It doesn't change the exterior boundaries. This isn't approving any sort of development. This is merely just doing a procedural cleanup, just like we did with some of our parks that were on multiple parcels. Or if you remember, we have parks that are on opposite sides of Highway 243, all on one parcel, which is kind of taboo now. So the developers are asking for it to all be combined into the one that includes the full building, all the way down to the river where it does reach to the river, and then abutting 2nd Avenue to the south and 3rd and River to the north. They are currently and actively looking at bigger developments, but again, that's for a different day, different time. But this is to help facilitate that future discussion. Staff is in support of this. Planning Commission did make a recommendation of approval of this item, as even if something doesn't occur in the future, it's still a cleanup of it. And in point of fact, all 5 of these parcels, 4 out of the 5 are all linked to the 5th that has the taxable value. So if you actually go on GIS, 4 of them are valued at 0, and then that 1/5 parcel, which is a parking lot, is valued for the full building. So the county has already done the efforts.
Yeah.
So staff recommends approval, as does Planning Commission.
All right, well, I can make a motion. I'll move that we approve the certified survey map as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion by Brad, second by Van, to approve the certified survey map as presented. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Passed unanimously. Next item, Bluff Tower Maintenance Agreement with KLM Engineering for $75,149.
Hey, everyone. Bluff Tower needs some paint, mechanical. You fill a tank with water and get some ice in there, and it's gonna eventually need paint. The last coating was in 2008, and we got some life out of it before it needed some touch-up. So that being said, Deb, we're finally getting a mixer in that one. Finally. We've talked about it at length, but during the winter months, you actually do, without a mixer, you get ice in that tower. Ice is hard on coatings and ladders and everything else that's inside.
Somebody from Southern California wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Well, and Rick, I just want to say thank you for putting a picture of what a mixer looks like in here, because my impression always was is there's like a big blender in there.
Yeah, I was almost going to take it out, and I'm like, no, they might want to know what we're putting in there.
No, because I'm just picturing the big one with beaters on it.
It's not a Hobart mixer.
Yeah.
Our old ones in the other tower, before we went to this newer style, were old. They were like a propeller that were suspended in there, and yeah, we're kind of wild. I still have them, just cause, but yeah, they're kind of old, goofy ones. But the repairs will also include, because you have to go through a DNR approval process. Once you touch your tank, the DNR wants you to upgrade your tank. Everything that's wrong with your tank, or everything that needs to be upgraded to meet the new codes. So that's where the pressure pallet vent comes in, the cable ladder, the aviation light, to just make sure that we're meeting those DNR and AWWA and 10 state standards. So good opportunity to do those. Great opportunity to put a mixer in it for layering and ice. And yeah, I can answer any questions. Tower will be offline for approximately 14 to 17 days. So I'm guessing 3 weeks. Everything going well, it'll be shorter than that. So we'll be running relief and bringing up to when the project date is. We'll be doing practice runs on that, just to make sure all of our equipment's going to be operational, for that time period.
And just to stress, this is all part of what's already been set aside and budgeted for, and this is all just part of the plan.
It's part of the plan. Part of the plan to get us through. Yeah, this is part of it was in the capital plan is item 12, BG 12. So it's just coming to fruition. By action of the board.
I'll make a motion that we approve the improvements.
I'll second it.
Motion by Van, seconded by Bill to approve the Bluff Tower Maintenance Agreement with KLM Engineering. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
I'll stay up for the next one. I think it's
Might
me
as well
too.
just
isn't it?
grab a
Yeah.
chair.
I can sit down and
Might as
get
well
back up.
just sit down.
Sit down, please. No. Next item, 2022 sewer rate study contract with SEH for $22,500.
Right, as part of our overall utility plan, we've worked diligently to come up with, I know Ben has put a ton of time into our financial plan and getting us on track. So this rate study is a deep dive, a 5-year study, a 5-year projection into our rates to make sure that we align with those plans and those goals that we have for the utility capital plan included. So one of those goals is to make sure that we have enough cash on hand to pay for giant maintenance items, that do arise. So this study's about aligning with the financial plan and sustainability, having a steady rate, not winding up where we were before.
Not running into that, trying to make up too late type thing.
Yeah, we don't want to do it too late, that's right. So
Exactly.
I should note that this is one of the first times that, it's all going according to plan from where we were before.
And now you wrecked it.
That's it.
Well, I said it, but here we go.
Yeah.
Knock on
And
wood.
fake wood.
Right, but I think we have, thanks to give to the board and Ben to make sure that we were on track, to make sure that we were meeting these goals. So let's keep doing it, and that's what this rate study's about.
Cool.
So part of they're getting the data that we had from past and what we're currently at, and they can make the predictions of certain things that we have to do there.
Yeah, projection populations, goals for debt load, things like that.
Right.
Capital improvements plans, identifying, areas of deficiencies within our wastewater plant, et cetera. One of the goals that we have is to line, do a lot of sewer pipelining. We did
Yeah.
that giant maintenance project. We looked at everything we wanted to know, what's our system like? And one of those goals is to go in there and line that pipe that we're like, we can, this will last, but we can really make it last, and we
Right.
can really be steady, so we're not having ups and downs as we did before. So it's a really good plan to just get on top of our maintenance to make sure that we're there, make sure we're meeting our goals.
I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the rate study as proposed.
I'll second that.
Motion by Bruce, seconded by Van to approve the 2022 sewer rate study contract as proposed with SEH. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passed unanimously.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, next item, 101 North Cascade Falls Trailhead update. So, as we discussed at the last meeting, a small group of us would meet with the property owners, which we did a couple Fridays ago. First Friday in June. Meeting went well. It was Bruce, Deb, myself. Ben was also there. They are still kind of looking into the financials, though they'd actually had a little bit of more of a plan, and they were looking at the cost of what it would be to build a building that would be financially viable. And it's very, very, very high. They gave a breakdown of ideas for income or funding for it. There was a request for village funding that would be about, correct me if I'm wrong, sorry, around 25 to 30% of the building.
Yep, that's about right.
Which our group was not in support of at this discussion. We asked them to look at other options. I threw out a request to see where they were with that. I haven't heard back just yet. Not putting on them for that. We were going to set up another meeting for the end of June or beginning of July. We talked about ideas also of maybe just getting the building down, solidifying the site at least, the very minimum. And that, this is just odd because of the location of this building. I mean, that's partly why this discussion's even happening. If it was my house or a different building across the street, we wouldn't be having this issue.
Nope.
So that's where we're at right now. Again, I'm hoping to hear an update or maybe some decisions have been made. Other than that, the idea idea of building the building that they want to build would be very difficult financially, I think, at this point. So, that's where we're at. If I'm missing anything, feel free to contribute.
You hit the high points.
I have a question. Ben, can you confirm what paperwork was delivered in early December by Paul?
Well, I think the paperwork that was provided was in response to the building having those structural issues, talking about that this building can't be used, it can't be occupied, it's unsafe. You know, so we required that they make it as safe as possible, and it long-term has to come down. I would say the best way to explain the paperwork, I don't have it in front of me, so please note that I'm trying to explain it the best I can.
Yeah.
But it's basically that the building's not safe. It can't be lived in, it can't be used, can't be occupied. I think even their structural engineers said, you know, one person can go in occasionally, but it's not a regular occurrence. And even our fire department said you got to unhook the utilities, so if it does take a tumble, it's not going to pull the rest of the area down or pull a gas main in a direction that would be horrible. Yeah. There are a little bit more details that, I mean, I think we've taken the stance of as long as there's cooperative effort, a timeline can be worked on. But if it starts getting to the point where zero action is done, well then, our attorney has said that there's options we can take, which we've talked about a little bit at length about. That's kind of the gist of it, Brad.
So that would be in contrast to an actual condemnation, is that right? Is that not what was provided in December?
I can't, without making sure I review it properly, I don't feel comfortable
And
answering that
we
one.
can get that information later. I remember when I had inquired with Inspector Campbell about what was provided. I don't think he used the term condemn or condemnation, like the form that was given, so.
I think we're using that it's unsafe to be in and not safe to be around.
Uninhabitable,
I think we're trying to, I mean, everybody wants to. I mean, I can't stress enough, even though building owners, I mean, they're extremely emotional about this one too. Everybody wants to see a solution. As long as that continues to move forward, I see positive progress.
Okay.
So that's where we're at right now. So we should know more in July. Plan a meeting before that with them.
I just want to acknowledge that, you know, some community members are, you know, still upset that the stairs are closed, and they're voicing that opinion, even though we've, you know, made signage and maps and said that the falls are accessible from other direction. Still, people are upset about this and the impact on tourism and our businesses downtown. And some residents would say that we're not taking action. The village board is not taking enough action. One person.
We've all been kind of feeling the heat.
And I just want to say, we are taking action.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's just not happening real
Yeah,
fast.
it took 150 years to create the problem, and you're not going to fix it overnight. And it does involve a large amount of money.
Yeah.
So it's.
Well, it's also a very different building environment than 150 years ago, where you probably could tear it down and not worry about anything and put
Yeah.
something
Oh,
that's going
absolutely.
to fall down
Yep. Yep.
up. So
Yeah.
it's a
Very
unique spot
complicated
as
thing.
well to quickly do something.
Yeah.
You can't quickly do something there.
I just want to remind folks of Van's comments from previous meetings, though, too, that there is a safety component that continually is brought to light. If there's a catastrophic failure of that building, we could potentially lose the sidewalk and/or street or parts of it, which could cause great bodily harm. So it's always out there as a concern.
Yeah, I guess I would say too that it is important that we keep moving forward and that we have a solution to bring at least probably the building down and secure the site.
Yep.
And I think it's in the process. This is going to sound negative, but I think we've talked this thing to death 322 times. And I mean, this was a general update of some positives. So I think we are moving forward. There are some, negatives out there. I mean, wouldn't we all like the stairs back open? But I think we are moving forward and there are some positives.
Any other questions?
Nope.
All right. Thank you. Next item, general agreement between National Park Service and the Osceola Fire Department. Paul, would you like to? This is an additional, this was added on. I hope everyone found it in their OneDrive.
This is just an agreement between the National Park Service for mutual aid. They do this with Dresser and St. Croix Falls also. It's for us to be able to respond with our boat for rescues on the river and anything else that may happen, fires in their area, in the Park Service or whatever. So it's just an agreement that we'll be able to mutual aid. So.
Which we have with other communities. And
Yeah, we have
organizations.
many other communities.
Yep.
Yeah, the only thing is I'd like to see the wording changed on that to village, not city of Osceola.
Okay.
That could, it's not right. So we have to get that amended somehow to.
Yeah, Osceola City Mayor should be Osceola Village President.
Unfortunately, that it wouldn't be a valid document.
You have a contact there?
Yes, yeah, we can get a hold of them.
So we could approve with those changes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve with the changes noted.
Second.
Motion by Van, seconded by Deb, to approve the general agreement between the National Park Service and the Osceola Fire Department with the appropriate changes from city to village and mayor to president. And you can take care of that?
Yep.
All right.
Although I call you the mayor all the time.
That's true. That's probably why they wrote it. Any questions or comments?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passed unanimously. All right, next up, permits and licenses. We have a special events permit. Again, this was added on. Hopefully everyone found it in their OneDrive. Special events permit for the St. Croix Valley Christian Community Choir Patriotic Concert, June 30th, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the permit for the patriotic concert.
I'll second.
Motion by Deb, seconded by Bruce to approve the special events permit for the Christian Community Choir's Patriotic Concert, June 3rd, 2022. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Passed unanimously. Next item, so we have our cigarette licenses, multiple applicants. I am not going to list all of them.
Make a motion to accept the license, tobacco and cigarette licenses.
I'll second.
Motion by Holly, seconded by Bruce to approve the cigarette and tobacco retail licenses as presented in the packet. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Passed unanimously. Next up, operator license. Again, multiple applicants. You have them all in your packet.
I'll make a motion to approve the lot of operator licenses.
I'll second.
Motion by Deb, seconded by Bill to approve the multiple applicants as presented in the packet for the operator licenses. Any questions or comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Passed unanimously. Next, alcohol licenses, multiple applicants, all in your packet.
I'll move to approve as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Brad, seconded by Bruce to approve the alcohol licenses as presented in the packet. Any questions or comments?
I have a comment,
Yes.
if I may, please. I would just like to ask the board, if possible, we have an ordinance that does state that if any of these alcohol licensing applicants have any outstanding debts or taxes or personal property taxes or any monies they owe the village, that the village can withhold these licenses. So I would like to have these approved contingent upon all of those, per our ordinance, those debts being paid. May not be necessary to add that into the motion because we already have it in an ordinance, but it's just kind of an affirmation. I did run into this last year, where we had an alcohol license applicant that had some outstanding personal property taxes. And I reminded them that those had to be paid before they could get the license. I even put out in my renewal packets a copy of the ordinance saying they have to have these things paid. But I just want to bring that up and kind of reiterate that in case, that question came up last year. And in case it comes up again, I just want it real clear.
So.
Any concerns this year?
Why are they not being
Not at
flagged?
this point?
Sorry.
Okay.
So there aren't any right now.
There are no concerns this
There
year.
are no
according
No,
to-
not at this point.
Okay, so we can just keep the motion as is. You said there's already something on the books for that.
Yeah, we already have an ordinance on it.
Unless someone wants
Yeah.
to change
Okay.
it.
And they get a copy of it, so.
Okay.
I have a follow-up question. So does that mean then if somebody, do you find this out after the fact, after we approve the licenses, that they have back taxes or something? Or is there a way to check before they actually?
Yeah, there is, but what
be
is a
having the
little bit
discussion
tricky
right now.
is that some of the personal property taxes are in installments, which means the second half isn't due till July 31st. And so technically, they wouldn't have to walk in and pay it until July 31st, but their license expires July 1st. So when they come to pick up the license, if they do still owe those personal property taxes, even though they're not officially due yet, I do like to highly encourage them to pay them at the time they pick up the license.
Okay. Before we get too far, we do have a motion out there.
Oh, sorry.
And I know it's pertinent, but trying to stick to the rules and order. So,
Who made-
Brad made the motion to approve the alcohol licenses as presented in the packet. Bruce seconded it. Sorry, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Sorry about that.
No,
I,
it's not your, no, it's not your
yeah.
fault. It's all
A
good.
motion and then questions and comments?
About the specific
About the
motion.
Only about the
Yeah.
motion.
Okay.
All right. Next up, conditional obstruction permit. This is the yearly renewal. We have talked about changing this to being an administrative function, I believe. It is something we should probably look at if they're,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
right.
certainly easier
I think we've talked about it, but we just kind of,
on our list.
exactly. What color is it, Frank? Just kidding.
I would like to.
45 on that list.
But yeah.
He did red.
I'd like to just comment that on this one, I'd like to take numbers 1 through 8 and leave the lanes out separately as I'm involved with helping Tilly get his sign. I want to be able to keep that one separate so I can abstain.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to take that a step further and ask that we vote on each one of these individually. It's not that much more time, really, and I think that there's some additional discussion beyond what she wants to abstain from.
Okay.
I think, should we just have whatever, I'll let you run it, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just go down the list. So the first one, Adore's Treasures from the Heart.
So we're talking about the things that are outside their building, like
Yeah, the
sometimes they have
Sandwich board-
furniture out
Sandwich
there.
board signs only.
Oh, just the sandwich,
Yeah.
okay.
I'll make a motion to approve Adore's.
A second.
Motion by Deb, seconded by Bill to approve Adore's conditional obstruction permit. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Passed unanimously. Next, Coffee Bark LLC doing business as the Chocolate Gnome.
I'll make a motion to approve the chocolate gnomes.
Second?
Okay, you got it.
Motion by Van, seconded by Deb, correct?
Yep.
To approve the Chocolate Gnomes conditional obstruction permit. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passed unanimously. Next item, Coming Home conditional obstruction permit.
I'll make a motion to accept Coming Home's, so. Obstruction.
Motion by Holly, second by Bill, to approve the constructional obstruction permit, conditional obstruction permit, good God, for Coming Home. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Passed unanimously. Next, we have Croyland Leather Works.
I'll make a motion to approve Croyland Leathered Works.
I'll second.
Motion by Deb, second by Bruce to approve Croyland Leatherworks. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Passed 6-1. All right, next up, Janine's Cottage.
Janie's.
Janie's, sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve Janie's.
Second.
Is that Brad?
Motion by Deb, second by Brad to approve Janie's Cottage, conditional obstruction permit. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes unanimously. Caritas.
I'll make a motion to approve Caritas for the construction.
Second.
Motion by Bill, seconded by Deb to approve the conditional obstruction permit for Caritas. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Passed unanimously. Next, Style Escape.
I'll make a motion to approve Style Escape.
Second.
Motion by Deb, seconded by Holly to approve conditional obstruction permit for Style Escape. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Passed unanimously. Sleepy Thicket.
I'll move to approve Sleepy Thicket.
I'll
Second.
Nope.
Who wants it?
It was
All right.
close.
Motion Brad, seconded by Holly to approve the conditional obstruction permit for the Sleepy Thickets. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passed unanimously. Next, Osceola Lanes.
So is there any more new information on lanes that you can offer? I mean, has anything changed since packet was developed? No?
Nope.
Okay. Still just working on where they were?
I want to make sure it's approved before we invest any.
True, yeah.
So if we make a motion to approve, provided,
Meets the regulations.
right. And that's kind of where,
Conditional approval?
right.
Possible?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way to go about it is motion to approve this one contingent on administration approval as it fits with code. If there's something way off on the concept, then we work with
Yeah,
the design. But I mean, we reviewed it, it's gonna fit as long as it gets built as it's proposed. There's no issue.
yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve contingent on it meets the committee's approval.
Well, not the committees.
No.
The administration.
Administration, I'm sorry.
I'll second.
Motion by Vance, seconded by Bill to conditionally approve the Osceola Lanes conditional obstruction permit with administrative review and approval as long as it fits code. Is that about right?
Correct.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed?
Is abstained.
And Deb abstained.
You will do that, Deb. You will make it.
All right. Next, moving right along. Board, committee, commission, agency reports. We have 7. Historic Preservation, February 28th, 2022. Library Board, April 14th, 2022. Water and Sewer Committee, March 1st, 2022. Airport Commission, April 18th, 2022. Room Tax Committee, April 18th, 2022. Plan Commission, May 3rd, 2022. And Admin and Finance, May 6th, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve all of the reports.
I'll second.
Motion by Deb, second by Bruce to approve all board, committee, and commission agency reports as presented. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes unanimously. Next, approval of vouchers payable.
Got a question, just information. There's an item for Thomas Saluski and Dennis Krentz for $102,000.
Parking lot.
Well, that ain't much.
Parking lot.
That's the Valley Spirits parking lot.
We bought the parking lot.
Bought the parking lot, finally paid for it.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
We've had it in contract since 14, and it was just the final payment. So we've been paying down every month,
Oh,
every
okay,
year, but
so it's-
we were able to extend it out until
Okay.
this
There
year.
were extenuating
Yeah,
circumstances.
no,
why it
it's
took
okay.
so
It's
long.
just a big amount of
Yeah,
money
it
for two
is,
people. I
yes,
just
it
wondered
is.
what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers payable as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion by Bruce, seconded by Van to approve the vouchers payable as presented. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passed unanimously. Any other business as permitted by law? Brad?
Nothing for me, thanks.
Bruce?
Nope.
Deb?
I just want to piggyback on what Todd said and thank Deb Ryan of the River Group, Rita at the Watershed, Shirley and Deb from Grow Osceola, Todd with Public Works, all the volunteers, including Ben and his boys, for getting the gristmill part, and Abrahamson's. That, from start to end, was less than a month's time to be able to get a group together, get a design, get it approved, get it through, get the fundraising and everything, and it looks great back there. So just a big thank you to that whole group of people who really worked hard on that.
Mm-hmm.
Van?
Just a couple of things real quick. Ben, I wish you the best of luck. I did send you a little note. I slept through his little gathering last night. I fell asleep. I was tired. So, but it's been a pleasure working with you. The other thing is something we have to consider. We're having some, issues with. Remember a while back we talked about we had to change the jake brake ordinance. Well, I don't know of all the places in town that actually we have to enforce that, or where's our signage? So that's something I'd like to open up and to check out in the future. Our next committee meetings are coming up. We're having, there's some problems with County Road M, moving into Polaris, residential areas, both from the east and trucks coming from the west, are compression braking at a lot. And it's becoming a noise problem up in that area. There may be some other areas. I mean, I can hear them coming down from the top of Quick Trip coming down to 243. And I understand why they have to do it. Some do, some don't. Depends whether you own your own tractor or you don't. But it is disturbing to some people. It does get loud. I'd like to just let everybody know that this is something that I'm going to be pursuing, that we at least get some signage going. I believe our code is active for it, but we need to resurrect the signs and make it a little bit more livable. It's getting busier again on those areas. So that's all I've got.
All right. Bill?
No, nothing.
Holly?
Nothing.
I just have a couple. One, I'd like to just point out the signage outside got changed.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I think everyone probably has noticed by now, but that's pretty cool to see. I think people are excited about it, which is good. I also wanted to just thank board and community members, all the events around town recently that I've seen. It's cool to see you out there, people having a good time, enjoying each other's company once again. I want to give a congrats to Deb. She's the new chair of the Planning Commission, just to throw that out there to everyone, which is exciting for the Planning Commission.
Wow.
Right?
And
Here we go.
yeah, and then I just want to say goodbye to Ben. It's our last meeting. So
Don't let the door hit you.
I know the second half of that.
I'll be running pretty quick.
Ben will be just fine in Bellevue.
No, they're lucky to get you. It's been a pleasure working with you. So yeah, I'm going to do a short goodbye because.
That's it.
All right, and with that, we will adjourn the meeting at 7:30 p.m.
Wow. 90
Isn't
minutes.
that something?
Love it.
All right. Would someone do me a favor? Take a picture. Ben,
Oh,
would you take a
yeah.
picture with all of us before we all leave?
Yeah.
If anyone is up for that.
Might not be something.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
But Ben should be standing right here. Ben should be
No,
standing.
we could all just go stand in front.
Yeah, stand in front of the dais.